Hello, my YouTube viewer fans out there. It's Sebastian of Sebastian's Movie Game Time. I'm your host, Sebastian, and I record my last episode last week, but then I edit out my last I edit my last video episode that I recorded last week, and I'm sorry for the delay. Uh, I uploaded on YouTube and I realized I made some mistakes with my last episode. So today I'm gonna record a new episode called episode 17. I know last week's episode was supposed to be episode 17, but because I made some mistakes of episode 17, I decided to take it off from YouTube because I made some mistakes about it. So today is Wednesday, and this is episode 17. Um, again, and I'm going to talk about movies, decent movies that I saw in theaters from 2010. But before I talk about those, I have several movies that I saw in theaters. Well, actually there were one, two, three. There's three movies there's three movies actually there's two movies I saw in theaters before we talk about decent movies of 2010 that I saw in theaters. Um, there there were two movies that I saw at home video, like DVD or on cable TV, and a movie that came out in 2013. Um, for some reason. So okay, so let's start off, shall we? First off, we have This Is the End from 2013. It stars. It's a film about famous celebrity stars James Franco, Seth Rogen, Dan McBride, Seth Rogen, James Franco, many others. Emma Watson. You know, they all stay close together as a disaster apocalyptic happens in Los Angeles, and it's like a survival apocalyptic movie. This is the end. Um, like I said, it stars Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Danny McBride, James Franco, Emma Watson. Channing Tatum pops up in it as well. Um, I give it 2 out of 3 stars for This Is the End. There were some scenes that I thought that were so funny and I laughed so hard. I saw it at a crowd theater. The showtime that I saw the movie in 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 the theater house, it was fully crowded, so I was laughing with all the other audiences. They were laughing as well. So again, 2 out of 3 stars for This Is the End. Um, we have Sicario, Day of the Soldado, which is an American Sicario, Day of the Soldier, which is American soldier, and in Mexico it's called Saladado. That's a Mexican version of that, known as Sicario 2. Let's just call it Sicario 2. Benicio del Toro, who plays the Alejandro character from the first Sicario movie, he comes back in this sequel along with George Borland, and their job is to kidnap a Mexican, a rival Mexican cartel's daughter, and try to use her as bait to lure out the Mexican cartels if he wants his daughter back. But along the way of Sicario 2, things doesn't go as planned, as the characters of Benicio and George Boland's character realize. And then later on towards the movie, the little girl, this little girl character that they kidnapped runs off during his ambush setup. And a Benicio character chases the girl who just took off running, and Josh Boland's character and his team of special op team, they go back to the compound where they're being told by um I don't know what he's been told by somebody that you need to get rid of the little girl. You get rid of her means that means to shoot her dead, because everything's gonna look bad on their part, and it's like it's all shaken up and stuff like that. I give Sicario Day of the Salado, known as Sicario 2, 2 out of 3 stars. Again, stars Benicio del Toro. Now, when I saw Sicario 2, I was like, Benicio del Toro's character. And after watching the first Sicario movie, yeah, after watching the first Sicario movie, I was like, I didn't like the Benicio character because his character did some things that I thought they were not very necessary of doing. But then when I realized, what his objective motivation was at the end of the first Sicario movie, it was like, oh, so that's why his character did what he did in the first one. So it's like, oh, okay, I understand now. I get it. So the Benicio del Toro's character, he kind of redeemed himself. His character redeemed himself in this Sicario 2 movie, actually. So I just thought it was a new, like, a character who has morals about the character. And I give Sicario 2 out of 3 stars, like I said. Um, so we also have Death House. It's like, okay, like the 80s, like the 80s. Okay, Stallone's Expendables movies, how Stallone gathered up everybody, all the action legends from action movies in the past to the first Expendables movie. Well, there's a horror movie called Death House, and it's an Expendables type of movie. What do I mean by Expendables type of movie? Why is that? Because Death House, it stars a lot of horror icons who did films from the 90s. And these are 80s horror icons and 90s icons who did horror movies, slasher movies, many others. Like Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees. He's in Death's House. Um, the actor who plays the Leatherface, um, um, R.A. Meliloff. He played the Leatherface in Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, and there's a scene that the Chainsaw Massacre 3 Leatherface has a beef encounter with Kane Hodder's character in Death's House, so I thought that was a cool moment. The rest of the movie stars another 80s, more 80s icons, like Barbara Crampton from Reanimator, From Beyond, Dee Wallace, Stone, known as Dee Wallace, Cujo, the actress of Cujo, Joe Dante's The Howling, Peter Jackson's The Frighteners. What else? Bill Moseley, who plays the oldest character of Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. Michael Bearman, who is one of the villains in Wes Craven's classic, the original Hills Have Eyes. Felicia Rose from the first Sleepaway Camp movie. Lloyd Kaufman of Trauma Video Company, he pops up in it. Danny Trejo also pops up in it as well. The late Sid Haig, character actor Sid Haig, may rest in peace. He pops up as well, and he has a cool character part in the movie. I get this house to oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about Tony Todd. Tony Todd, who played the original Candyman, he pops up in Death's House as well too. And the writer, and I'm not sure you know about this, but the writer who wrote this Death House movie is Gunnar Hansen. Gunnar Hansen, you should know Gunnar Hansen, his name, because he played the OG Leatherface in the Tobe Hooper's Chainsaw Massacre. He's the OG Leatherface in Tobe Hooper's movie. Well, he wrote this movie before. Well, and sadly, Gunnar Hansen passed away. He's no longer with us. He wrote this movie, Death House, and this movie was on hold. Was on hold on production for a long time because they were trying to deal the grief of Gunnar Hansen's passing, and so they managed to make it after his passing. So this movie's kind of dedicated to Gunnar Hansen actually because he wrote this movie. So. And this movie's kind of a complex, very very confusing, but there's some gore, bloody scenes in it that is completely over the top craziness. If you like that sort of thing, so 2 out of 3 stars for Death's House. And next up I have two movies to talk about that I didn't see in theaters. Like we have Elizabeth's Harvest. It's about a young woman who marries a rich guy who has money and lives in a nice house. But then the young married woman, she uncovers her husband's dark secrets. Like he's like an experiment he has in this nice house that her husband owns and has, but she uncovers dark secrets about her husband that she doesn't know about him for what he does. Um, I give it 2 out of 3 stars for Elizabeth's Harvest. It stars Abby Lee, Jean, uh, Carla Gugino. Um, 2 out of 3 stars for Elizabeth's Harvest. And finally, we come to the third and final chapter movie of the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy called 50 Shades Darker. No, wait a minute, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. 50 Shades Darker is not the third chapter movie. 50 Shades Freed is the third chapter. I'm sorry. Um, 50 Shades Darker is the second chapter in the 50 Shades of Grey movie trilogy. It stars Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan. Again, like the first 50 Shades movie, a young girl named Anastasia, that's the main girl character's name, and Mr. Grey is the guy's name, and they continue, their relationship continues on in a sequel, and it's erotic movie. 2 out of 3 stars for 50 Shades Darker. Okay, now we come to talking about DC movies that I saw in theaters of 2010. So let's get started. First off, we have Percy Jackson's. We have Percy Jackson and Lightning Thief. I like Percy Jackson Lightning Thief. I like the premise of it about this young kid named Percy Jackson, who his mother tells him that he's a decent relative of a god Greek. He's related to Greek gods. Of like he's part with the gods of the I don't know, like Zeus. Or I thought it was a very concept story. Percy Jackson and Lightning Thief. The movie stars Logan Lorman, um, Brendan T. Jackson, Alexandra Daddario, Pierce Brosnan, who was cool, Uma Thurman, who plays that Greek mythology character Medusa. I think that's the character's name with the snake's hair. She was good too. Captain Keener as Percy Jackson's mom in the film. Joe Plantiano, known as Joe Pants, he pops up as the um, boyfriend, wisecracking boyfriend who's not very nice to the Percy Jackson character. Um, Steve Coogan also pops up in it. Rosario Dawson as well. 2 out of 3 stars for Percy Jackson's and Lightning Thief. I like the premise of the story, and it was a good character story driven. Um, we have Shutter Island. It's a Martin Scorsese movie, psychological thriller film by Martin Scorsese, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Ruffalo, Ben Kingsley, Max von Sydow, Emily Mortimer, Michelle Williams, John Carroll Lynch, Elias Cotes. Did I say Ben Kingsley? Ben Kingsley, Max von Sydow, and Jack Early Haley, who has a small part, and Patricia Clarkson. 2 out of 3 stars for Scorsese's Shutter Island. It's about an inspector who and his partner they go to this isolated island prison on an isolated island and encounters supernatural forces and secrets that lies within at this prison. Um, we have Shrek Forever After, Mike with the voice talents of Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy, Tonio Banderas, John Hamm, Lake Bell, Julie Andrews, and Craig Robinson. Shrek makes a deal with what is it, Rumpelstiltskin, I believe, and switches from Happily Ever After to everything is all switched around because the Shrek character made a deal with Rumpelstiltskin, and everything becomes all chaos and mixed up stuff. It's not as good as the first Shrek movie. I guess Shrek Forever After 2 out of 3 stars. Get him to the Greek. It's a record store um, a person who works at a record store intern who whose job is to escort a British actor rock star to the LA theater to Los Angeles, LA, to the Greek theater that's in Los Angeles. Um, I gave it 2 out of 3 stars for Get Him to the Greek. It stars Jonah Hill, Russell Brand, and Elizabeth Moss. 2 out of 3 stars. Um, Sherlock Holmes, a Guy Ritchie spy movie, period piece movie, starring Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes. Um, Watson, Dr. Watson, played by Jude Law. Richard McAdams co-stars. Mark Strong as the villain. 2 out of 3 stars for Sherlock Holmes. There were some great scenes in it that I thought there were comic relief. Great. Um, Sherlock Holmes and his former assistant and his assistant Watson, their job is to find Lord. I forgot what the villain's name though, but they realize that that the villain is not dead, and they have to find him before he wreaks more havoc in the streets of London. So 2 out of 3 stars for Sherlock Holmes. Edge of Darkness is a revenge action movie starring Mel Gibson, um, Ray Winstone, and Denny Hudson. It's about Mel Gibson plays like a retired former police officer whose daughter gets shot and killed right in front of his character by a group of unknown Elysians or masked men. And Mel Gibson's character uncovers secrets about what his daughter was involved with, and brings his daughter's killers, and he'll bring his daughter's killers to justice, and make them pay for what they did to him because they shot his daughter right in front of him. So he goes on revenge mission. 2 out of 3 stars for Edge of Darkness. Um, Kick-Ass, the first Kick-Ass movie. It's a black comedy kind of superhero movie, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, Chloe Grace Moretz when she was like younger, Nicolas Cage, Mark Strong. 2 out of 3 stars. I like some of the violent action scenes in Kick-Ass. It was cool. It's about this nerdy high school kid, this a teenager who wants to become like a hero, and he dons up this mask costume outfit known as Kick-Ass. He makes a name. His character makes a household name to himself. But then as soon as the word gets around that this new hero called Kick-Ass, it's around, the villains played by Mark Strong, who is the bad guy, realize this person dressed up as his hero. I mean, he's really getting all the national headlines. So, 2 out of 3 stars for the first Kick-Ass movie. Um, Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake Nightmare on Elm Street, starring Katie Cassidy, Rooney Mara, Jackie Lee Haley as Freddy Krueger, Thomas Dekker, um, Killian Lutz, and Clancy Brown. 2 out of 3 stars for Nightmare on Elm Street remake movie. It's not as good as the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's about a young woman and Nancy Thompson who has dreams, and along with her friends, they all have dreams about this burn mask killer with the burn face skin and with the nice 4 fingers known as Freddy Krueger stalking them. If they kills them in their dreams, and they get killed, if these people get killed in their dreams, they get killed in real life as they're dreaming. So 2 out of 3 stars for Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Robin Hood. It's a Ridley Scott movie starring Russell Crowe, Kate Blanchett, Mark Strong, William Hurt, and Oscar Isaac. Robin Hood must fight, the sheriff of Nottingham, and give back, the treasure, give back the gold to give to the poor people and to his teammates. 2 out of 3 stars for Robin Hood. Red. It's the first Red movie starring Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Morgan Freeman, Helen Mirren, Brian Cox, Mary Louise Parker, Carl Urban, James Woolmore, and least but not least, a character actor named Ernest Borgnine appears in Red. So, Red is the action comedy. I forgot to mention it. Sorry. Bruce Willis plays like a former government person, and the other government people, they decide, let's eliminate one of our own. And, so Bruce Willis gathers up some of his old crew team members as they must fight to stay alive. 2 out of 3 stars for the first Red movie. I like the comedy action in it. Um, the first Grown Ups movie, buddy comedy, is a comedy film. It's about a group of high school friends who learn. It's about a group of high school students who heard that their coach died, passes away, and so these high school students and former members of the high school students, they decide to throw a 4th of July parade, and to honor their coach's legacy. And you know it stars Adam Sandler, Kevin James, David Spade, Rob Schneider. Did I see David Spade? No, David Spade. Yeah, Salma Hayek and Maria Bello. 2 out of 3 stars for the first Grown Ups movie. Next up, we have the A-Team movie, based on the 80s, based on a TV show from the 80s known as the A-Team of the same title. But in this movie adaptation of A-Team, it stars Liam Neeson, who plays the role of Colonel Hannibal Smith, who and the character from the TV show A-Team was played by the late George Papard. And Liam Neeson takes over this character, John Connor Hannibal Smith, as this character is the leader of the A-Team. The movie stars Bradley Cooper, Shelton Copley, Patrick Wilson, Jessica Biel, Quentin Rampage Jackson as B.A. Baracus, who takes the character role that Mr. T played in the 80s TV show version A-Team. I give the A-Team movie 2 out of 3 stars. I like the TV. I think the TV show, The A-Team, is a classic. It's funny, great. But I thought the movie was good, and I thought Liam Neeson was great playing the John Hannibal Smith character that George Papard played in the TV show version. I thought Liam Neeson was great as the leader of A-Team, so it was cool. What else? I gave the A-Team movie 2 out of 3 stars. Night and Day, starring Tom Cruise, Peter Sarsgaard, Viola Davis, and Paul Dano. 2 out of 3 stars for Night and Day, directed by James Mangold. It's about a woman who meets this charismatic guy who turns out to be a former agent with special set of skills of martial arts and hand-to-hand combat skills. And as they go on the run, and it's basically your romantic romantic action comedy. The action scenes was good, and the chemistry between Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise characters was great too. And I'm not sure you know about this, but this is the second time that Night and Day stars Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, because Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise, they did the first film together, just the two of them, called Vanilla Sky from 2001. So it's 9 days reunion for Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz since they first teamed up in Vanilla Sky. 2 out of 3 stars. What else? Okay, everybody, that will do it for episode 17 of Sebastian's Decent Movies from 2010 that I saw in theaters, and a couple of films that I didn't see in theaters. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and you'll get new content episodes every Monday. And I'll see you at the movies.